Hey, what's up, friends? Sports Talk Bears. I'm your host, Sean. We are at the beginning of a new era, right, Mike D? Thank you for that comment. Uh, hey, what do you guys think? this has this has taken a long time to get here, right? We've gone through so many things as a team. Um, we've gone through the whole Justin Fields saga. Will we keep him? Will we not? Are we going to trade him? Are we going to build around him? For those of us, including myself, that weren't necessarily wanting to move past Fields, I thought it would have been a really great thing to keep him and build around him and get a bounty for that number one pick. But hey, it's cool. That did not happen. And I'm looking forward to the Caleb Williams era. I mean, you guys leave some comments. Let me know what you think about this progressing further. I think it's the beginning of a new era. I actually agree with Mike. I think we've gone through a lot as a team, right? We've gone from being the old team that Mike Dickey used to say that we toss around nickels like what was it, manhole covers, right? Just exceedingly cheap behind the 8 ball as far as being modern, being an actual modern NFL franchise. And over time, I think that's caught up with us. I think we've made so many bad choices with quarterbacks, right? Um, we did get a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman, but obviously that wasn't enough. And just as we progressed, I just love what Ryan Poles has ushered in as the Bears GM. You guys send some comments. Let me know what you think about that. He's done so many things. First of all, he's modernized the front office, and we have an actual team president that's a football guy, and that is Kevin Warren. We are way past the time that the McCaskies and most definitely that lawyers were essentially running the team. McCaskey along with Cliff Stein, and but Poles coming on. Kevin Warren coming on, that has just made all the difference in the world. And this franchise, I would say it has been revamped top to bottom, right? From progressiveness in the front office to getting rid of the old guard. I'm just really excited for where this is going, and to kind of keep track of what's going on coming into the draft. We have some storylines, right? We're looking at rumors that San Francisco is not going to be able to pay both of their receivers. They aren't going to be able to pay both Debo and Ayuk. So they are looking to trade into the top 10 to possibly get some new young talent that they don't have to sink all this money into. And it's been rumored that Bears are one of those teams. So you guys let me know what you think. What do you think if we were to take this number 9 pick and we were to go ahead and make good on a trade offer from San Francisco and bring in Debo Samuel, bring in somebody like Brandon Ayuk, and actually start out with another stud? I mean, sure, it would cost a lot, but let me know what you would think if we were to do that trade. Myself, I'm against it, but I'm willing to have some banter about that. There's also some rumors that the Jaguars are hungry for yet another receiver, hungry for an offensive lineman, hungry for a lot of ways to update their team, and that they're looking at trading into the top 10. And as we get close to the draft, we have been looking at it's hard to know what to look at as fact and what to look at as just a rumor, but there is a lot of stuff spinning around right now. As well with reports that Chicago that we are telling teams, hey, we are ready to deal this pick if absolutely necessary. I see some of you guys are joining us here as we're getting close to the draft and filling in some time until the absolute obvious pick of Caleb Williams is here. Kind of something really interesting on CBS Sports that's breaking that I'm going to go to in just a few minutes. Let me try to get to the story, and you guys have to bear with me. I am my own producer, so I think I can find this story. It was kind of interesting just a little while ago. With Caleb Williams, he's been talking to the media quite a bit. He's been expressing things that he would love to see for the Chicago Bears, and this is kind of an interesting story coming in. And hey, it looks like we're getting close to being on the clock. So I think this is a really interesting story. If you go to cbssports.com, we're looking at Caleb Williams, like he's kind of talking about who he would love Chicago to take at number 9. And he's actually looking to be reunited with an old teammate. And this is actually super interesting. Hey, you guys are starting to join us. It's great. Keep on, post some comments if you will. I would love to interact here. But now that Justin Fields, he's in Pittsburgh, right? We're going to draft Caleb Williams, and he's kind of talking about to the media what he would like to see with this number 9. And this is really interesting because it is more than possible that these top receivers are all gone. It's more than possible that we're not going to go 4 quarterbacks in the top 10. There's always rumors that teams are going to do a specific thing, and a lot of times it doesn't happen. But he was asked who he wants the Bears to select when they're on the clock again. And he stated, I'd probably go with Fashanu because I know he put his life on the line for me, protecting me, like kind of giving props to an ex-teammate that he would love to see on the team. And he's like, I'd like to get Fashanu and then one of the top 3 wide receivers. I don't see how that's possible to do unless we do some major trading. But Caleb and Fashanu, I believe it's Fashanu, sorry. They were teammates together all the way back in high school. So it's actually really interesting. And now Fashanu, he's out of Penn State. They're teammates in high school when they attended Gonzaga College in Washington. It's just kind of a really interesting choice if you're looking at him going all the way back to high school days to bring one of his friends on the team with him. And I'm gonna cut that down. But let me know what you think about that. That if we were to get to the point that the players that we want are no longer available, like, what do you guys think? Okay, man, look at the crowd in Detroit. I'm sure you guys are watching with me. This is crazy. You've got Eminem out there. It's it's fantastic that the draft is in Detroit. My friends and I were thinking about going, and I decided I wanted to be here with you guys. So, what's Eminem gonna do? This is pretty interesting. Well, I'm not gonna clap for the Detroit Lions, but you guys know how it is. Um, Yeah, so what are we looking at here? Oh, they're gonna bring out the whole crew, huh? Gonna bring out the whole team. Sports Talk Detroit, you are probably absolutely loving this. And kind of let me tell you about what we've got going on here. Carlton, let's go Bears. Absolutely, my friend. Let's go Bears. This is the beginning of an era, right? Um, Joe, what's up, Joe? Thanks for being here, man. Bear down, my friends. Williams, here we go. Um, and Joe and I work together. This isn't my day job, and we've been talking so much about the Bears. I went through, you guys that follow me with the channel. My heart was so into Justin Fields. I didn't think that we would ever make that move. Joe, you've heard my monologues at work day after day after day. But when Justin Fields was traded, man, I was devastated. I'm going to be honest. But now that I've had some time to unwind, I've had some time to unpack my grief. More and more and more, I realized that it might be something that needed to be done. I mean, we've gone through so much to modernize this team from top to bottom. We've modernized this whole front office. We've dumped players like Khalil Mack. We've gotten rid of so many old players that in the past we would have been sentimental and we would have kept them, but we cleaned house. We have a GM that absolutely started us back from square one. And now we're to the point that this team is being modernized to the point that now we're finally getting to the quarterback. And man, just the chance of seeing a quarterback that we can actually win because of. that doesn't have to be in this situation, but now we're dropping this guy into a situation that is absolutely perfect. And Carlton, thanks for letting us know here. I was mad too. I'm glad that you're over it now. Now, what we got to get past as a fan base, right, is that we all suffer from this Chicago Bears PTSD fan syndrome, right? Every single move that we make now, you're going to hear it in the draft from guys. Um, Not you guys. You guys have been pretty positive, but we're going to hear in the draft as this goes on. It's not going to work. Here we go again, and I just think it's time. We finally deserve to have the lever switch a little bit, and for us to be positive moving forward. And you guys, what do you guys think the bust rate is for Caleb Williams? What do you think the attraction is for Caleb Williams? Do you think it's his floor? Do you think it's his ceiling? Do you think it's the fact that he plays outside of structure so absolutely well? I think there's a lot of evidence that he plays well within structure as well. Do the painted fingernails bother you? I mean, I am getting old. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm almost into my fifth decade. And I would say the painted fingernails, they really bothered me at first. But then my buddy was telling me he was at the gym. Guys lifting weights like this new generation, like a lot of them with painted fingernails. I watched like it's ridiculous, but I watched a rap video a little while ago, and the painted fingernails. It seems to be like part of this new generation, and I think as us old guys like me, we shouldn't give it such a hard view. I don't know, man. I'm just filling time, but I don't think we should concentrate on the painted fingernails. I don't think we should concentrate on all those exterior things. Hey, let me see. Rando, what do you have to say? I agree. I was mad that everyone was talking about Justin's bad traits and not the good. I hope he has a good career. Man, I fully agree. I wish him totally the best in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, but Pittsburgh had a choice to pick up his fifth round option, and they chose not to do it. I think it was going to be a 23 to 25 million fifth-year option. They chose not to. So I don't know what that has to say about his future. I don't know what it has to say about what they're planning for him this year, but it sounds like he's going to have every opportunity to fight it out for this starting job in Pittsburgh, right? And man, I hope he wins it. And, funny enough, I have him on my fantasy football team, obviously, as a Chicago Bears fan, and I need him to ball out as my number 2 quarterback, so there's even some extra motivation. So, Rando, I absolutely agree. I was totally mad. People had a hard time talking about the good. But yeah, I hope he works out. Oh, man, all my friends are here apparently. Let's go Lions, right, Nate? That's my brother-in-law. The hits just keep coming. Thanks for commenting. We're gonna have a lot of good times. Let's go Lion. What do you think, coach? Should we be talking that way? Uh, Coach Dicka says no, so man, Rando once again. Hopefully we have some good luck this year. So you guys, what does constituting good luck look for? Once again, let's talk about what we're going to do with this number 9 pick while we're killing some time. Um, oh, looks like Caleb's picking up his once again. He's picking up his pink phone. Wonder what that conversation is. I think we all know what that conversation is. Um, yep, finally seeing some activity here. Um, yeah, you guys. And we're actually sitting here, we actually have a 5 billion proposal for a new domed lakefront stadium. Beautiful water views, a green use area, like it looks like a destination venue. Like, what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think about maybe going from being hey, if you play in Chicago, you gotta be a cold weather team, you gotta be all these things. What do you guys think about actually playing in a domed stadium? Especially when we're getting a quarterback like Caleb Williams. I think I was reading an article that if this were to happen, if we get this stadium built, there wouldn't be any like temporary home in between, which is great. But it would come into like year 3 to 5 of Caleb Williams' career. So we could have this team build up and we could build up this offense and actually have an offense that can play, not on turf. It was still going to be natural grass, but a team that you can build, a fast team, an athletic team, just a different style of play on offense. And you don't have to worry about the cold weather. Like, we don't have to get off the bus running like all these coaches have talked about for so many years. And I don't want to talk bad about Lovie Smith. He loved saying that, but I refuse to ever say something bad about Lovie Smith for going for it when he was coaching the Texans to get us where we are with this pick, man. Shouldn't he have a stadium outside of Soldier Field? Just absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna shut up right now and listen to let's listen what Kurt Warner has to say here. I cannot talk constantly for 2 hours, so and I don't know what's up with Kurt Warner. He has been a Justin Fields hater his whole career. I honestly think Kurt Warner hates any quarterback who would dare leave the pocket and run for yards. He just absolutely hates mobile quarterbacks, and it's hard for me not to hold a grudge against him because he has just trashed Justin Fields, I think, a little unfairly every single step of the way. So, yeah, man. Rando, thanks for the talk, man. Rando is saying, I think it could bring in more fans because I know a lot of people who didn't love Soldier Field, but with new stadium, more games, and possibly a Super Bowl. And I don't know if you guys are keeping track of that too, like the possibility of a Super Bowl. It's kind of weird because it's almost like the proposal was thrown together. And as far as not wanting to have our stadium in Arlington Heights, right? Moving back to the lakefront in Chicago, the capacity for a Super Bowl stadium is about 70,000. That's like the cutoff number. That's a requirement for the Super Bowl. There'll be some of course there'll be some talk about this, and I gotta wait. I'm gonna shut up about the stadium. It looks like the pick is in. This is the least suspenseful number one pick, by the way, that I think we've ever had in football. Man, we're already 17 minutes in. So anyways, talking about the stadium, that we're about to build, right now, the proposal, it's only 65 1,000 person capacity. And as far as holding a Super Bowl, it's kind of crazy that the capacity is supposed to be 70,000. So that seemed kind of odd, kind of like the proposal was thrown together at the last second. But that green use area to go with it is going to be fantastic. Now you're talking, Nate. Now you're talking. No more Let's Go Lions. Here we go, friends. The Chicago Bears, we have finally remade this franchise. We are finally moving forward in a different direction. And say what you will about Justin Fields, say what you will about how this team has been built in the past. We all have PTSD, right? We've never had a quarterback, and every single time we make a move, every single time we do something new, we have this thought, right, that it's not going to work, or here we go again. You know what? This is something brand new. This is something that we've never had. The consensus number one pick in the draft, Caleb Williams. You guys, this is so good. Joe, I'm so glad you're here. Make way for the new Kings of the North. Yes, Game of Thrones references well deserved is way welcome here, man. Who else we got? Future Super Bowl MVP. I hope you're right, Joe. I hope you're right. This looks really good, man. And the funny thing, too, yeah, facts, Joe, facts. Paul, what do you have to say? Lovey owed us for when they gave up the Super Bowl to the Colts. Absolutely right. Thank you for this pick, Lovey Smith. And hey, what do you guys think about this pick? Is there still hangover from Justin Fields? Let's wish him well in Pittsburgh, man. And you know what's great? He looks absolutely ecstatic to join this team. I think that's him hugging his girl there. I don't care about the pink phone, man. Welcome to Chicago, Caleb. And if we're ever talking about like something that's actually cool, the very first thing that you look at, like watching him play, it's almost like watching a savant at work. It's just absolutely crazy. He's one of the most exciting quarterback prospects in recent memory, and it's just he's just so versatile. He's just so versatile. You guys, let me know what you think. I am incredibly excited. So, what do you guys think? Talking about Caleb Williams, what are we actually getting here? Like, let's talk about what we're actually getting here. And I would argue that he is one of the most exciting quarterback prospects in recent memory. If you look back at the last two draft classes, I think it's pretty evident that he would have been the number one. I think he would have been the number one draft pick in the last 2 years as well. I mean, he has been groomed since high school to be exactly where it's at, and he has worked his butt off to get here. Even his outfit, how he's dressed, he looks like he is here for some serious business, and he is a Chicago Bear. So let's look at what we're actually looking at here. I think he's got high end physical traits, right? Top shelf production over the last 3 seasons, going all the way back to when before USC when he broke it when he beat out Rattler, right? And took the starting job, and he never looked back. He's just fantastic. His arm angle throws that look almost impossible. It looks like a lot of Mahomes there. It makes you sit up in your chair, right? He's very difficult to defend. He could be the next NFL superstar, but his style, it also comes with a couple of big question marks, and we're going to get into some of those. Um, he has below average height, right? But he has a thick, muscular build. He has an absolute rocket launcher for an arm. His arm talent, that is his defining feature. He can throw frozen ropes right to all three levels of the field. He flashes touch on deep shots. He can get the ball where he wants it to go pretty much from any platform. He plays off balance. He falls away. He almost gets tackled. He even jumps up in the air. He's able to whip the ball downfield with velocity. I like to joke around, if you guys are Napoleon Dynamite fans, that he has a little bit of Uncle Rico in him. He has a little bit of Patrick Mahomes in him. It's just so much fun. It's just absolutely so much fun. And I'm so glad he's here with us. Now we're getting close to the Washington War Room, which is kind of an interesting thing. Um, let's look at this too. He seems to be most comfortable when structure breaks down, and a lot of hits on him is that he cannot play out of structure. If you actually go through the film, I think it was Windy City Gridiron might have been. They posted a whole 20 minutes of him playing within structure, and I think that's absolutely not true. Um, another thing, when structure breaks down, he's usually always first looking to throw downfield. He's a twitchy scrambler. He has great balance. He has great body control to make defenders miss in the open field, but he's still looking to pass first. It's like a really good attribute. He has this thing. He can turn absolutely nothing into something. He can evade like a ton of oncoming pass rushers and actually find the man downfield. He reminds me a little bit of Kyler Murray, maybe, but he doesn't run like an angry toddler, but he reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray. And it's not that he can't, once again, it's not that he won't play in structure. On straight drop back throws of less than 2.5 seconds, here's an interesting stat, and this is from the Ringer. He notched a PFF passing grade of 89.7 over the past 2 seasons. That's fourth best in the Power Five. He has fantastic accuracy. He has anticipation as a thrower when he hits his back foot, when he gets the ball out. and he flashes the ability to navigate the pocket to avoid pressure. He keeps design plays alive, but you're looking at his tendency, his penchant, and maybe even preference. He likes to hold on to the ball too long, right? He likes to hold on to the ball. He tries to make out of structure like miracles happen. So let's talk about like why that's happening. I'm going to check some comments here. Um, Nate, come on. No, he's not going to be the next Justin Fields. Thank you for that comment. I'm not even going to post that one. But if you look at why he holds on to the ball so long, if you look at that, it might be because USC had the 116th ranked defense last year. He had to play miracle ball so much. And like the really good thing about this is that our new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, he specializes in lowering the time that a quarterback takes to throw the ball. He did it with Geno Smith. He did it previously in his other work in McVay offenses. So that's really been a strong suit for him. So hey, Caleb Williams, welcome to the Chicago Bears. Oh, it looks like Jaden Daniels, just as predicted, out of LSU. He is going to the Washington Redskins. I think he was the only quarterback that we could quibble that by a lot of people were saying that they'd rather have Jaden Williams. I don't really believe that that's the case. I don't want Jaden Williams. I think we got the right guy. I think as far as looking here through some stats, the biggest challenges that he might face in the pros, it might be balancing that out of structure talent that he has, balancing it with a bigger focus on playing on time, avoiding sacks. He took 35 of those in 2023. That's the 11th most in college football. Williams, he's almost surely going to have the speed up this process. He has a 21.9% pressure to sack rate per PFF. That's a little concerning. Points to the fact that he also often tries to pull that like Houdini effect, right? That Uncle Rico thing to try to make something out of nothing. And a lot of times it ends up not going well. So that's something that he's going to have to grow through. I think one thing that's really, really good. One thing that's really, really good is our offensive coordinator that we have with him. I think he showed some erratic accuracy on deep shots, I'd say. He seemed to press at times. He tried to do it all himself, led to some bad decisions and some bad throws. Still an excellent year, but not quite up to his Heisman year. And he'll need to improve his discipline. We require some coaching. He needs to start taking what the defense gives him. He's got to start checking down more. He needs to live to see another play, even though he doesn't have ideal height. He has great body structure to allow him to hold up to a lot of the stuff. So let's look at two questions about Caleb Williams, and we're going to move on. I want to talk about Jaden Daniels that just got picked. He's got top tier arm talent. He has a natural feel for navigating the pocket. He's able to keep a play alive very easily when structure breaks down. I think that's when he's a special playmaker. Let's look at the reason that why he could fail. He doesn't play on time consistently enough. He leans too much on his improvisational talent, I would say. But all those things that can be coached. All of those things can be absolutely helped if our defense doesn't make him have to play hero ball. And man, I think it's a really good pick. I think it's just a really good choice, and I'm happy about it. You guys, I'm going to start talking about it, and you guys let me know what you think. Let me absolutely know when you think. Trying to keep up to date here as we go. Um, my friend Brian Smoots that I work with, he is absolutely well, I'm just gonna tell you he's a Patriots fan, but he absolutely does not enjoy Caleb Williams. He thinks it's a big mistake. He just texted me, "Chicago, they shall reap what they have sown." Thank you so much, Smoots. That seems like a little heavy. It seems well, we're all pastors, so it seems a little biblical, but thank you, Smootsy. Love you. You guys, I'm my own producer here. Let me know what's going on here. Let me know if there are any changes. What's going on? Have you heard anything about this number 9 pick? It looks like this is moving really, really fast. Like, the New England Patriots, their pick is in so fast within almost 5 minutes. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts. Kind of skimming through Twitter here, trying to figure out if we hear any rumors about this number 9 pick. It's gotta be so far, we're Chicago Bears, they got Caleb Williams at the number 1. We're looking at the Washington Commanders. I gotta not say Redskins. The Washington Commanders, they've got the pick in. It looks like almost an absolute lock that they're gonna go Drake May here. What do you guys think? Some stuff kinda crazy happened today too. I'm kinda checking out, like, what's going on here. It's a really hard thing to carry a live show yourself. I've never done this live before, so you guys, thanks for being with me. It looks like we've got about 25 people here, so keep them coming. Keep some You guys be my co-hosts. Send me some, send me some comments. Iron save, man. Bear down too, my friend. I am excited about this. It looks like here comes in the pick. Patriots selection. Let's hear who the latest New England Patriot is. See what my friend Smoothie has to say about this too. There we go. Drake May. Textbook draft so far. And what do you guys think about Drake May? Like, I'm not sure. Like, in my view, the Giants were rumored to be really hot on Drake May, but to me, he's not much. Tell me he's much different from Danny Dimes. Tell me his profile is not different. Thank you, Iron Save. I need you guys to help me out here on my own producer. It's kind of hard for me to keep track of rumors and things that are happening, trades that are going on. So if you see absolutely anything, let's do this together. Patriots took Drake May. Um, that's just crazy. AFC East, he had 3,600 pass yards in 2023, 4,321 passing yards, 38 touchdowns in 2022. So those are both top 5 in college football. So he does have a pedigree. We're looking at 8,000 yards, 63 touchdowns, 16 interceptions in a career. Pretty standard suit. So no one's gotten too crazy with their outfit. I expected more. Joe. Rest in peace, Patriots fan. I mean, this is actually really interesting. I would say I would say that Drake May is basically Danny Dimes in a less shiny package. I mean, another like school that doesn't really play anybody. Danny Dimes coming from Duke, I believe. This being out of North Carolina. I mean, absolutely. Who did he play to warrant this high pick? Thank you, Carrie. You guys, let us know what's your guesses for the next Bears pick. Give me your guesses. Let's talk this through. My guess, I'm going to start out with Romo Odunze. One of the guys that commented on my page earlier said that his name should be changed to Romeo Doomsday. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, he should patent that. That's a really good nickname. Um, Iron Save. Let's see what you have to say. I don't like May as a prospect, but I also don't like Bo Nix. One of them would probably be really good. My guess would be that Bo Nix is going to be really good. He's a little longer in the tooth. I don't think there's any quarterback in recent memory that's had more experience than Bo Nix, right? What do you guys think about Bo Nix? Where do you think he will end up? And let's keep this going. What's your guess for the next Chicago Bears pick? Right now, it's been textbook, right? It's been absolute textbook. We've got the top 3 quarterbacks coming. Man, what happened to Kurt Warner? All of a sudden, he looks like he looks like my grandfather all of a sudden. That makes me feel so old. Uh, remember the dark hair, the flat top? Man, he looks old. It's kinda sad. He's gonna be ready to compete. Patriots took Mays. I'm not hearing anything at all, any draft rumors about I think this is the turning point in the draft, right? Pick 4. This is where Arizona picks. Um, man, so what do you guys think with this Arizona pick? I mean, conventional wisdom, like what people would typically say, this is where MHA goes, right? Um, Here we go, iron save. Rome at 9 or trade back unless a miracle, right? Unless it's a miracle. What would that miracle be? Um, uh, no, we haven't gotten a new center yet. Thank you for asking, Rando. Let's look at what Chicago did in free agency, and I want to go here for some reference just to make sure I'm picking everybody up. It looks like probably, I mean, what are we doing at center? That's a really good question, Rando. As far as center, one of our first transactions, let me get here because I want to make sure I have these things in the right succession. Um, I think probably our starter. It's looking like our starter is going to be Coleman Shelton, right? We on March 14th we picked him up, and I think he's going to be pretty comfortable in Shane Waldron's offense. I mean, he is reunited with offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. He played in his system that factored into his decision to sign with the Bears in free agency. And kind of like an interesting thing, we got Shelton because we didn't expect he would be available. It was kind of a coup. A lot of teams didn't expect him to be available because he had a clause in his contract with the Rams that if he played over 51% of the snaps, he would become a free agent. And that's one of those times that trigger that it actually turned into something. It actually turned into something. So he signed for a 1-year contract. I think he's going to be our starter. He's been super solid. He spent the last 5 seasons with the Rams. He appeared in 73 games of 32 starts. Um, Waldron served as their passing game coordinator in 19 to 20. Oh boy, what are the Cardinals going to do? Um, oh my goodness. All right, there we go. Marvin Harrison Jr. He is perhaps the best prospect in the whole NFL draft. Um, in the whole NFL draft. Yeah, MHJ Iron Save. Thanks for being here, by the way. It can be an argument that MHJ is the number one prospect in the NFL draft. I think he was the only person that I was comfortable drafting instead of Caleb Williams. There's absolutely no hole in his game whatsoever. And let's kind of look at that. Let's look at actually, you guys help me be my co-host here. um, let's kind of look at Marvin Harrison, who he is as a guy, who he is as a prospect. I mean, he can run every single route in the tree. He can he can run dig routes, he can run go routes, he can do absolutely everything. He can play in the slant, he can play it in the slot. Sorry, I'm trying to talk while I'm watching him put on his hat. Um, Man, I don't know. Time will tell if this was a mistake that we passed on him, but I think yeah, there goes a miracle. Michael, I thought you weren't going to join us, man. Who'd the Bears pick at number 1? We are now the proud owners of Caleb Williams. He is now a Chicago Bear. So bear down. I think this is going to go well. I'm actually excited. It's a good question. With MHA gone, what spot would you fill next? I think this is going to be really interesting. If we look at who is coming up, let me get into this profile. So who else is on the clock next? We got the Chargers. There's a lot of rumors that the Chargers have this number 5 pick for sale. We've got the Giants next. We've got Tennessee. We've got Atlanta. So far, we've got the top 3 quarterbacks going. And with the Chargers, they don't need a quarterback. Obviously, they've got Justin Herbert. They have advertised over and over and over that this pick is for sale. What do you guys think? Do you think they're actually going to use this pick? I'm a U of M fan, I'm gonna confess. I know Jim Harbaugh really, really well just from having so much exposure to him coaching U of M. He has been consistent his whole coaching career that he believes that the game of football is built on a strong running game. He's jettisoned all his receivers. He got rid of Eckler, and I think this is the ideal place that probably Joe Alt is going to go. And I think if Joe Alt doesn't go, he's going to go at number 7 with Tennessee. I think this is going textbook unless there's a trade up. I think the Giants probably go Malik Nabers. And I think Atlanta, they've loaded up on offensive talent with Kirk Cousins coming in, regardless of the tampering he's in. We've got man, watching Marvin Harrison run routes just almost gives me a stomach ache. He is such an absolute talent. Oh, that's just sick. Um, I'm still going to be happy with where we went, but I think time will tell. Like a year from now, or 2 or 3 years around from now, I think that's a comparison in this whole draft: Caleb Williams versus Marvin Harrison Jr. 4 minutes left for the Chargers pick, but I think the Chargers, they go with an offensive lineman. I mean, that's what's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh as head coach. I think the Giants, they go Malik Nabers. Tennessee, if all is not there, I think the Chargers could go tight end with Bowers, but Tennessee, they are almost begging to take an offensive tackle as well. That could be Fashano. Atlanta, like I was talking about before I got distracted by Marvin Harrison Jr.'s routes. I think Atlanta has this offense they've been working on. I cannot see Dallas Turner getting away for Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to go Dallas Turner, and I think Chicago is going to 100% go Rome Odunze. I think it's almost written in stone. Nothing crazy has happened. So here we go. If Odunze gets picked, the Bears trade back. I absolutely agree. So there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about in the comments. If the Bears trade back, what do we do? How far do we trade back? If we trade back for multiple picks, we still need a receiver. So does that mean somebody like Worthy is available? Does that mean somebody like A.D. Mitchell? Would you like to see him in a Bears uniform? If we trade back, does that mean we go defensive tackle? Do we go defensive end? You guys know the choices here. What do you guys think? All right. This might be good from Randall. Thank you, Randall. Quote from my friend. Congratulations for picking the backup quarterback for some random team in the AFC. Oh, they're Packer fans. Of course they're Packer fans. I have friends that are Packer fans. They're not humble, are they? They're not humble at all. Um, Who is the Bears defensive player the Bears met for dinner with Caleb Williams? If you're talking about his top 30 visit, I believe Dallas Turner was there the same day. And he went out in the same group, in the same contingent. He went out with the top brass. Um, but the thing is, I'll have to look that up. But I know that Dallas Turner was there the same day as Caleb Williams. That's a really good question. Thanks, Alpha. So kind of like, let's see, where is that, Carrie? I'd like to pick an offensive lineman pick. Protection is key to a successful quarterback. So, Carrie, are you talking about picking an offensive lineman at number 9, or are you talking about that with a possible trade back? Um, I I would be absolutely shocked if Joe Alt is still there when we pick at 9. I think it's almost impossible. But let me know specifically what you mean, Carrie. Let's chop this up. And a possible trade back. Do you think it's possible to trade back with Minnesota? Um, Trade back. Okay. Southsider, thank you. Thank you for clarifying something as far as what you think that we should do here. Um, if you think we should trade back if we take offensive linemen. So you're talking about if we trade back, who would be the choices if we trade back? I mean, we're talking about if we trade way back, I think if we traded all the way back to 20, that would actually give the dream that so many people have, like Powers Johnson. If you've watched previous shows of mine, Powers Johnson, he's kind of like a unique prospect, and he would kind of fit what Ryan Poles has been doing with his team, right? Especially in free agency. Um, if you were looking here, if you're looking here, what we would do in that standpoint in free agency, what was the thing that we did in free agency with the offensive line? We with the offensive line, we 100% got guys that were super versatile, right? Guys that could play all the way across the line in every single position. And Powers Johnson actually would be a good fit if we traded way back. Sure, we'd be trading him as a center, but he did meaningful snaps everywhere across the line, most notably at offensive guard. So we could essentially, we have Shelton, who will likely be our starter. We could essentially take Powers Johnson, put him on this team, and be able to have a very competent, a very good offensive guard while he's learning the game, right? While he's waiting to ease into the center position, because I think really quarterback and center are probably the hardest, in my opinion, the hardest positions to learn in the NFL and to get proficient at, right? Because you're essentially the catcher in baseball as the center, to not mix sports, but you're calling the plays, you're labeling protections, you're looking at what's ahead of you. So that's not friendly. So hey, you guys, let's see what the Chargers do. This is going to be super interesting. My prediction is Joe Alt, but let's see what it is. There it is, Joe Alt. So this is really interesting. This is so interesting. Coach Harbaugh, like I was talking, he believes that the offense is built, hitting the ground running. He's still old school. Uh, he reminds me of old Bears coaches, right? Only an actual good coach. Not a big surprise to me. I'm sure Tennessee is completely bummed. I think Tennessee had Joe Alt labeled as one of the top picks. So this is actually really interesting. Carrie, you're talking about taking an offensive lineman, right? If Odunze is gone, let's look at what we're looking at for the next picks. We've got the Giants, Tennessee, Atlanta, and then the Chicago Bears. So what are we looking at yet? I really think Malik Nabers goes to the Giants, right? I think he does. And then we've got Tennessee. I just really think that Tennessee, what do they have DeAndre Hopkins. Who did they pick up else at receiver? Why can't I think of his name? This is making me absolutely crazy. Can you guys help me with my brain fart here? Um, this is so interesting. So then if you could think about it, like I was talking about, I think Tennessee is primed to take an offensive lineman. So that would probably be Fashanu, right? Would that be Fashanu? Fashanu? I don't know, man. I get names wrong all the time as far as pronunciation. So please bear with me. Then Atlanta, they go defense. So you could very well be looking at Chicago sitting there with the choice of Bowers, sitting there with the choice of Rome Odunze. What do you guys think about that? If we're faced between Thank you, Carlton. Yeah, Joe Alt is gone. You guys continue to help me here. I'm my own producer here. So it's really, really, really difficult for me to keep up on what's going on outside of this. So if you hear of a rumor or you hear of a trade, put it up on here. Help me. Joe Alt is a big guy. That's right, Gary. That is such a good pick. You're probably looking that Joe Alt is a foundational offensive lineman for probably the next 10 years. I think he's a real deal. That is like a ridiculously good pick. Iron Save. Who do you think the Giants are picking? I think they're going Malik Nabers, but it's starting to kind of look like the way that he's talking. I can't hear the audio here, but are they talking about JJ McCarthy? And if they're talking about JJ McCarthy, what does Minnesota do? What does Denver do? What do the Raiders do? This is incredibly interesting here. It's in Iron Save. Quick, quick, quick. Predict. Who do you think they're picking? Who do you think the Giants are picking? If I was with my friends, we'd be gambling on this probably. Who they're going to pick next? This is actually really interesting. The pick is in. You think it's JJ? Ooh. Okay, we got one for JJ. Iron Save. We've got Joe. Joe is saying Malik Nabers. All right. Southside, we got Nabers. All right. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'm going to say Nabers as well. If it is JJ, that is absolutely insane. What is Minnesota going to do? What is Minnesota going to do? And if it's not JJ, look at where we're at. If it's not JJ McCarthy, then we've got Tennessee, Atlanta, then Chicago, then the Jets, then Minnesota. If this pick is not JJ McCarthy, that means he's going to go to Minnesota without trading, without moving a bit. And then Minnesota still has another first round pick. What's up, Kamish? There we go. Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers is now a New York Giant. Yeah, that's right. Southsider Nabers. Woo! Danny Dimes is going to get healthy. And he's going to have a new toy, Malik Nabers. That is crazy. I have friends texting me about our fantasy football league right now. It's like absolutely crazy. Joe, prayers for Nabers. Joe is praying for Malik Nabers. Oh, this is going to be such a mess. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen with the Giants? Do you think Danny Dimes is actually going to take advantage of this talent? I mean, he's just going to be throwing go routes down the field to this guy. Yeah, like let's look at that, Carrie. Thanks for that, Joe. We're all pastors here, so the fact that he actually might be praying for Malik Nabers right now, which is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, that's a good question, Carrie. I don't see how this doesn't happen. So we've got Tennessee next. There's no way Tennessee's going quarterback, right? Tennessee, I predict, is going to go offensive lineman. I think this is where you're going to see Fashanu. Fashanu, is it Fashanu? Help me with that. I think he's going to go to Tennessee here. You've got Atlanta. I do not see Atlanta passing up Dallas Turner here. So this is textbook. I think Chicago is going to let's do predictions here. What is your prediction for Tennessee's pick? Let's just have fun. I don't have to fill it with banter here. What do you think Tennessee's pick is going to be? But to answer your question, you've got Chicago. I still think Chicago's going to go Odunze, even with Brock Bowers there. You've got the Jets that can grab Bowers, which is absolutely insane. And Minnesota, they get JJ McCarthy without even having to move. And they still have, what's the pick that they got from Houston in that pick? Yeah. Then they've still got the number 23 pick. So Minnesota is able to double dip. They kept that ammo in case to move up, but they didn't have to. Minnesota gets JJ McCarthy without having to move an inch, which is crazy. Get on the phone, Ryan. Trade back. So you don't. So what are you saying, Southsider? Like, clarify this. Do you not think that Rome Odunze is the right fit? Or are you looking at this is a perfect opportunity? So many players have dropped. We could be looking at getting actually a bounty for this number 9 pick, which sounded good. All right. Yep. Iron saves. He's predicting the Titans. I think that's fashionable. Hope so. Um, Alpha. Please let Odunze be there. I don't see any situation that he's not there. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he wouldn't be. You're right. Chuck. Sorry, Iron saves. Bear down, my friend. Thank you, Julian. Um, Oh, Alpha. Hey, man. What do you think? What do you think? Defensive player for Tennessee. So, where's Tennessee going to go? Do you think Dallas Turner's going to go to Tennessee? And Southsider, someone's going to move up. That's actually kind of interesting. We're looking at it's likely that we have some teams that are looking to move up. Let's kind of look at this. I'm gonna bring you guys in here. I'm gonna bring you guys here. Let's go to let's go to Tinkathon. Let's go to Tankathon. So what are we looking at? We're talking about what Southsider is talking about. Someone's going to want to move up. Let's kind of look at that. Who do we think would want to move up for this? Um, we're looking at people behind us. So we've got Denver coming. We've got Vegas coming. We've got New Orleans coming. Indianapolis. Who would move up for Romo Dunze? I think the team that might move up for Romo Dunze, if that's something that's actually going to happen, is Jacksonville. They've been rumored. They lost their number one receiver, as you guys know, to Tennessee in free agency. I don't know why I can't think of his name. I'm not used to doing this live, and I think I'm having a brain fog. So can you guys please help me think of who that is? It's so obvious. It's driving me crazy. Jacksonville is the team that's been rumored coming into this draft night that they want to move up for a receiver, and Romo Dunze is right there for the picking. Um, you could possibly look at maybe the Rams. Um, maybe look at the Rams. Could maybe look at Pittsburgh with their number one going. Didn't he go to Carolina? Um, Yeah, you could look at a lot of stuff. I think you could even look at, I'm kinda getting deep. You could look at Buffalo. Now, if Buffalo were to trade up with Chicago to snatch Odunze, that, my friends, is a pick moving all the way up from 28. That's a pick that we could get an absolute bounty for, and, hey, that would be crazy. I think if Buffalo moved up and traded with us to move up, that would probably see us grabbing somebody like Powers Johnson, us grabbing somebody like, I mean, Worthy, right? Run streaks down the field with the receivers that we already had. That might be a good thing. Um, yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Everybody, let's be kind here. Carrie, do you think that the Bears will go with what Caleb wants? With the practice with Odunze, I feel like he was on insight to the I think that was an insight into the Bears organization's thoughts. I absolutely agree with that, Carrie. If you guys watched yesterday's story, there's so many links to Odunze. They obviously have a relationship, but did you guys see the Twitter exchange that they actually rode in the same plane to get to Chicago to get to Detroit for the draft? They had that throwing session in LA, all the way out in LA, and Odunze was there. Caleb was throwing with who? DJ Moore. He was throwing with Keenan Allen, and Odunze was right there with them. I think that's a really good indication. I think 100% they're going with Odunze, but let's continue to explore this. Southsider, they're gonna want they're gonna want to jump in front of Minnesota. Like yeah, for sure. That is like something that I'm not really talking about right now. You could have teams, um, let's go back to the Tinkathon. Let's go back to Tinkathon, right? Um, yeah, because we're looking at Minnesota's at 11, Chicago's at 9. You have some potential teams that could be looking at jumping up. I would say Denver and Las Vegas. If there's gonna be a trade early in this draft, it's gonna be one of these 2 teams. It's gonna be either Denver or Las Vegas. I would think it'd be more likely Las Vegas, because they just frankly have more ammo. Denver, I don't believe they have a second round pick this year. So that would be a little difficult. They would have to either include a player like they've talked about earlier in the offseason. They're talking about Sertan being a possible trade chip. What if Denver were to take their number one, add Sertan, maybe add like a third or fourth rounder next year and move up to leapfrog Minnesota? That is absolutely crazy. It's Calvin Ridley, by the way. All right. I think this is really interesting. This is the trade that I'm not sure what's going to happen. Wow, that is a surprise. I didn't think he would go there. They go tackle. They go tackle with JC Latham. I figured the Titans would go offensive linemen, so that kinda this draft is pretty much all chalk, right? Thank you, Alpha. Thank you, Calvin Ridley. Why couldn't I remember his name? That's crazy. Iron Save. Are we all old people here? I'm gonna be 50 this year. Are we all old people that we could think of Calvin Ridley? I think that's something Iron Save, I think that's something that could 100% happen. What if Denver traded with the Bears for JJ? I think that's the only possible, like, trade early in this draft. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Southsider, sorry I didn't see your, text before that, but, yeah, how about the Raiders or Denver to move in front of Minnesota for JJ? I think that's the only thing that possibly might happen. Southsider, Iron Save, Southsider, I'm with you. Um, White Ghost, okay, man, here's another viewpoint. Um, we need a 3 tech, we need a defensive end. So, White Ghost, are you saying that you would rather stay put and, what would be we be looking at then? Is that you're thinking Dallas Turner? If Dallas Turner's gone, would we just stand pat and take Jared Verse? Like, what's your preference? We need a linebacker who can cover the pass. Don't we already have that? Don't we have Tremaine Edmonds? Don't we have TJ Edwards? I think those guys can cover the pass pretty well. I don't think linebackers are a problem. Let me know what you think on that. And if we did take a linebacker and that'd have to be a possible trade back, who would you like to see come into the fold? Oh, I'm getting close here. Is the Falcons pick? I might be a little behind. Is the Falcons pick in? Falcons are going to pick one more pick. That's right. I like this, Randall. I like to imagine how stressed the Vikings are if anyone trades with the Bears, like with the first pick, you don't have to worry. But in latter picks, it's a free for all. I mean, yeah, the Vikings have to be absolutely stressed. Do you guys think this trade's going to happen? What do you guys think is going to happen here? Do you think that Vegas or Denver trades with Atlanta to possibly leapfrog the Bears? It's really interesting. One more pick. Bears need to pull a Ryan Pace on the Vikes right now. Oh, no, I don't even know what that means. Don't mention Ryan Pace here. Oh, that's fantastic. Trade back. Trade back some and take Byron Murphy as a defensive end in the second round. That's a really interesting choice. If we traded way back, Byron Murphy actually is well equipped to play defensive end. I did a story on him a couple days ago, and he's actually a fantastic choice there with a trade back. I absolutely love it. I don't know if he would drop to the third round. That'd be fantastic if he did. He's being labeled as going in the second round, but that's actually really interesting. Thank you for that. He's dropped weight. Latham said that he dropped 20 pounds getting ready to get drafted. That's absolutely nuts. The Falcons are considering Michael Penix. Is that absolutely true? Are you guys seeing that too? The Falcons are actually thinking about Michael Penix? Really? No way. That would be absolutely nuts. Why would they do that? Is it like trade bait? Are they trying to get Minnesota to trade up? Does that mean that Minnesota's like into Penix? That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane. I lost my TV feed, you guys. Absolutely unbelievable. The Falcons went Penix. That doesn't make sense. What are they gonna do now? That makes absolutely no sense. So does that mean Cousins isn't ready? Does that mean there's something with that NFL investigation that somehow they can't keep Cousins? I'm just kinda spitballing here. That absolutely does not make sense. That is absolutely insane. I cannot believe it. So what do you guys think? Does that mean that Rome Odunze is coming into town? I think it does. I think it absolutely does. This is exciting. I mean, like, yeah, what do you think Iron saved? Like this makes no sense. This is really, really interesting because we've got the tampering investigation going on with Minnesota, going on with Atlanta, even going on with the Saquon Barkley signing in Philadelphia. And the commissioner has said that this is going to be a really severe punishment. It's a really severe punishment. And if that's what's going to happen, man, that is so interesting with Kirk Cousins. Let's and how severe that punishment is for them to go Penix. Is it like that they're going to let Penix set for a couple of years and play behind Kirk Cousins? Like maybe that's like interesting. Maybe they want Cousins to hold the line for a couple years and then still have Penix back there. That pick makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Joe, yeah, I think this means Rome. What do you guys think? Is this mean Rome? That's absolutely insane. I mean, that's a really good point, White Ghost. It makes sense. Cousins is 36. So let's see here. I don't know off the top of my head. Can anyone tell me how long Cousins' contract is for? It makes sense. Cousins is 36. You think in a year or two, he's going to be a 38-year-old quarterback coming off Achilles surgery, right? Maybe that makes sense. Maybe they are really high on Penix and they want Penix just to sit back and learn behind a really savvy, a really seasoned veteran quarterback. And then when it's ready to go, they can just pull the trigger. or it could say a lot about this investigation that the NFL is promising. Um, that is really, really interesting. All right, man, Southsider. I'd rather have Turner. Sorry, guys. Rome is a monster, but man, I mean that's very good. That's a very good argument. Dallas Turner would complete our defense. It would be a way. Okay, I thought I saw a weird trade. It would be a way for it would be a way for us to complete this defense, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. This is gonna be really interesting, but especially with all the Twitter exchanges, especially with the group practice with Rome Odunze. Um, I think it's almost I think it's almost like a oh, thank you. My wife just texted me on my phone. Cousins has a 4-year deal. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. It's good to have a wife that's smarter than you. Thank you, Holly. All right, the second pick of the night. The Chicago Bears have completely remade this offense with Rome Odunze, the wide receiver out of Washington. This is such a good pick. I absolutely cannot believe it. Now you have 2 guys in their early 20s, 2 blue chip players on this offense. You've got Caleb Williams and Robo Dunze. We do not have to pay them for years, and they can mature with each other. They can play together. We're talking about a 6'3" wide receiver weighing 212 pounds. He's 21 years old, a junior out of the University of Washington. And we're talking about the ringer.com views him as having shades of Devontae Adams. They're looking at him as an instinctual playmaker, a pro ready frame at 6'3" and 212 pounds, sure hands, smooth framework. And if you watch his film, if you watch any college football last year, if you just watched highlights on ESPN when you weren't watching Caleb Williams highlights. This is a guy with such a long stride, with speed, with acceleration. He can run all the routes in the book. He is an absolutely complete receiver, and now a Chicago Bear. He's a guy that makes plays. He can make plays at all 3 levels. He had the speed. He has the speed to make plays deep, which is absolutely unbelievable. He has the strength to come down with the ball in traffic. Watch that catch. His 2023 stats, and this is what we are getting. 1,640 yards that led college football, 17.8 yards per reception. 13 touchdowns, 92 receptions. That is what we're getting to join our team. And it's not only a player that's going to make our team dynamic at the outset, it's also so much protection. I don't know if you guys saw the contract that AJ Brown signed today. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but with what he just got signed at, we're looking at Keenan Allen not signed to a new contract. And what money is he going to demand? We got Keenan Allen, and he would not sign a new deal with the Chargers because he refused to come down on his money. I think his cap hit was like 25 million. Now you're looking at these new receivers getting 30 million. So we've got a couple things with Keenan Allen. I'm so glad he's here at least for this year because he's going to be someone that's a security blanket for Caleb Williams no matter what. Wherever Caleb Williams looks, if it's in the slot, if it's outside, if he's in trouble, if he's bouncing out of the pocket, Keenan Allen has been playing long enough that he can be in the spot that he needs to be without any coaching up, right? So he's an incredible um, safety net for Caleb Williams. So now you've got Caleb Williams, you've got Keenan Allen, you've got DJ Moore, you've got Rome Odunze now, 6'3", 212 pounds. And I think this is really interesting. It's not only makes us dynamic immediately, but it also does something. It keeps us dynamic. because I talked about this yesterday on my show. Let's say Keenan Allen gets hurt, or let's say Keenan Allen, we can't sign him to a deal after this. Let's say we can't do that. Let's say Keenan Allen goes out and he gets injured. If Rome Odunze is not there, if Rome Odunze is not there, are we still a dynamic offense? Looking at our offense without Keenan Allen, without Rome Odunze, if something happens to one of our receivers, does it still blow your skirt up? Does it still look like we are setting up Caleb Williams to succeed? I think absolutely not. We're going to be looking at Jones. We're going to be looking at Scott. We're going to be looking at Dante Pettis as our number 2 receiver. It gives us insurance to be dynamic throughout the rest of the year, no matter what, if we have an injury. And I honestly think that Ryan Poles did enough with this offensive line. We got dynamic guys on the offensive line that might not be all pros, but they're sneaky good. We have guys on the offensive line that can play every single position up and down the line. Let's look at Rome Odunze's combine results. A 4.45 40-yard dash. That's in the 10th percentile at the position. Excuse me, 70th percentile at the position. You're looking at a guy that is 6'3", 212 pounds, that can still run a 4.45. You've got a vertical of 39 inches, 86th percentile. You've got a broad jump of 10.4. I'd like to see how that shows up on the RAS score. The 3-cone drill. Here's the thing. You've got a guy that has such a work ethic. He had a 6.88 time on the 3-cone drill. That's a 76th percentile rating on the 3-cone drill. That's pretty good, right? But this guy is a baller. This guy is a grinder. It bothered him so much that he knocked down a cone that you guys, if you were watching the NFL Combine, long after the cameras were gone, all the lights are down. People are starting to leave to chill at home. Rome Odunze is still out there on his 5th, 6th, 7th try, trying to get that cone drill absolutely perfect. And this says something about his work ethic. This is why I want a guy like this on my team. At that point, his score on the cone drill, it didn't even count to his combine profile. It didn't even count as far as his draft stock. He is just such a perfectionist. He wants to work hard so much to the point that he was willing to stay there to get it absolutely perfect. What bothers me is I never found out if he actually got it perfect. If you guys heard about that, let me know. But you're at the combine. You do something that you're in the 75th percentile, and that's not good enough for you. That's the guy I want on my team. I'm so glad he's a Chicago Bear. You've got a 96th percentile 4-second 20-yard shuttle. His arm length. This is what I love. He's right there. His arm length is 32.25. Like that's fantastic. His hand size is 9.25 inches. So I think what you're doing with Odunze, and then I'll get to the comments, you're looking at a twitchy pass catcher, a big muscular frame, super strong hands. Super good at starting and stopping as far as acceleration as a route runner. He runs a mean curl route too. He stops on a dime. So many times if you watch his film, he stops on a dime and the cornerbacks just fly past. It's so much fun. He's a big play threat too. We've got yet another guy. We've got DJ Moore who kind of can do it. Keenan Allen is going to play from the slot most of the time, but we actually have like this perfect match. This guy that is huge physically, but he can also absolutely take the top off the defense. This guy can streak down the field. And on top of that, he scored 6 touchdowns on passes of 20 plus yards in 2023. That ties for 7th nationally, on top of leading the nation in receiving yards. He tracks the ball beautifully. He creates separation late in his route. He does shoulder bumps. He does subtle push-offs. He brings top shelf body control and balance. He has the ability so many times, if you watch his film, that he jumps and spins and catches the ball before adjusting his feet to land. He keeps running downfield after that, which is absolutely insane. He catches the ball away from his frame. He excels in contested catch situations. He caught 9 of 14 contested catch passes on deep throws last year. Just absolutely incredible. What else? I'm going to the Minnesota Vikings selection. They're getting a guest person. I'm just so excited here. The Ringer.com also talks about how he runs through arm tackles after the catch, how he was frequently used on screenplays, how he weaved his way through traffic, picking up chunks of yards, good feel for zones. He's not just a man to man threat. He does really good in zones. He's really good at finding the hole in the zone and like popping into the empty spot. He's just really, really good. Good anticipation, and he works really hard in the run game. He uses physicality to punch and wall off opponents. He's a good blocker. He's just reliable and consistent. And here's the thing that I absolutely love. Only 3 drops on 140 targets last season per PFF. So you're looking at a player that not only led the league in reception yards, only 3 drops on 140 targets. I don't know what that percentage is. What is that? Like under 2%? Under 2%. The Minnesota Vikings just picked JJ McCarthy, and how masterful is that? The Minnesota Vikings not only traded for an extra first round pick, they didn't have to use it to package to trade up to get JJ McCarthy. They got it like in the honest way, and that's absolutely fantastic. I'm really happy for JJ McCarthy. So, what are we looking at for the Vikings? Now, the Vikings, I think Justin Jefferson, I think he turned down a 30 million deal in the offseason. Does this mean with McCarthy, does that mean it's enough to sign Justin Jefferson to an absolute league shattering contract? The bag that Justin Jefferson gets now, it's going to be absolutely insane. And I think now he has motivation to sign the contract. Um, I think that's the thing. The thing on Odunze too in the ringer.com is just a great profile. Go to the ringer.com's NFL draft sheet on their big board by Danny Kelly. It's just so useful and it guides you through the draft. I'm using it right now because I'm not an encyclopedia up here. I couldn't think of Calvin Ridley's name, so I can't. Um, so the big board, it tells us why he could rise, why he's going to be fantastic. They're saying that he's a hyper productive pass catcher with the size of a number one receiver in the NFL. He's dangerous deep. He wins at the catch point. This guy just high points the ball. He can run every single route in the book. Just like I said, he can play in the slot. He can run go routes. He can run curls. He has wiggle. He has acceleration. He can stop on a dime. He can catch in the end zone. It's just so good. The only knock on him is that he needs to refine his skill on route running. He lacks explosiveness after the catch. I don't know if I agree with that. I watched a lot of film. He isn't going to be a dynamic weapon there. This is weird with draft profiles, and I want to quibble with this a little bit. So it's talking about he lacks explosiveness after the catch and isn't going to be a dynamic weapon deep. But then they're also saying that he takes the lid off the top of defenses. So it's just so weird with draft profiles. Anyways, Romo Dunze, welcome to the Chicago Bears. I am absolutely overjoyed. This is like Christmas. You guys tell me what you think. I'm going to go to the comments here. Bear down. What a great pick. Let's go to new comments. Yes, that's actually absolutely insane. Here's how I think, Alpha. This is absolutely how I think. For fantasy purposes, I'd love to see the Jets take Bowers. That's absolutely super funny, man. That is exactly how I'm thinking because immediately after the draft, myself and my friends, we're going to immediately shift to fantasy football. We're going to be trading like madmen. Yeah, because we're on the Jets pick. Iron saves, they might do it for Aaron's purposes, protection release valve guaranteed. I absolutely agree. So how many picks left? So, Rando, how many picks left? You mean in the first round? I mean, Chicago, we are down to what? We're done for the day unless we trade up. Unless I think the only way that we trade back into this round or trade into the second round now. I mean, the only way we do that is potentially using that extra second rounder that we got last year from Carolina, right? That trade, it just keeps on giving. Um, I think that we're gonna be done. It's gonna be some crickets for a while. We do not pick again until the 3rd round. Then we're gonna follow the 3rd round with the 4th round, so that's super, super interesting. So, I mean, now you think about Minnesota's situation, and I'll get to it. Right after we see what this pick is, I'm kind of excited to see what this pick is, the Jets. Do you think this is Bowers? Looks like this is most likely Bowers. Fashanu, so I've been pronouncing it incorrectly the whole time. The Jets go Fashanu. That is so weird, it's been pretty much textbook so far, but I did not see the Jets going offensive line. Alpha, I gotta change my pick. I sing in a punk metal band. This was from a show. Dude, that's absolutely fantastic. Uh, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, good for you, man. I am too old for a punk band, but that's absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna put that comment back up because I'm starting to shift towards fantasy football. So, I mean, let's kinda think about, what that Minnesota pick means. So now we've got JJ McCarthy. Think about this division now. How much fun this di Oh, man, this is my boy. You have been such a loyal viewer. So have so many of you guys on this page. But I want to just give you a straight up Tommy letting me know. I had to jump in just to see how excited and surprised I am that Odunze dropped to us and that we actually took him. I think that's call for celebration. I think that thank you for bringing that up. And I want to tell you something here. This this page, I'm so grateful for you guys. This channel has grown so quickly. I only started doing this in December and monetized in under a month. And we've just grown this together. And I think one of the great things is that this kind of feels like a little bit of a family. Like, sure, I make these videos all the time, but so many times I'm like, I'm just here for the comments. I love interacting with you guys in the comments after every single story. I don't just ignore the comments. I like to actually interact with you guys, and I just want to give a shout out to Tommy. Like I had an extended illness earlier, and Tommy he thought like, hey, I'm just gonna say what's up. Sean, are you okay? It's not like you to not post in such a long time. I assured him I was, but man, I just feel like we're building like a little family here. It's just really refreshing, and I think one of the good things about building a family here is that we've done it being so positive. Like I want a positive environment here, and being a pastor, I actually love a positive experience here. But man, you guys, I just want to commend you, and I appreciate you guys spending this time with me in the comments week after week and day after day and video after video. It's just been totally cool. I'm not gonna get all mushy, but this has just been such a good experience, and, to put this much time into this, with it not being my day job, and to get the positivity and the responses that that I've gotten through every second of this, man, it's just been so inspiring, and it gives me faith in community, gives me faith, in humanity, really, and it is possible that we cannot be just miserable Bears fans, right? We could actually have some hope. We could drink some of the Kool-Aid for now, but it's just fantastic. And thank you. Really appreciate you, Tommy. Thank you so much. Yeah, much love, man. Uh, Levante, Levante, let's go Bears. Absolutely fantastic. Um, Love you too, Tommy. I really appreciate that. This is something from Alpha, and this is something I wanted to transition to. Can you believe what this NFC North division is going to be? It's absolutely crazy. So now you've got Green Bay with Jordan Love. Annoyingly, annoyingly, um, Jordan Love is going to be a superstar. It's ridiculous. Green Bay, um, you are so spoiled. Thank you, man, White Ghost. We are real Bears fans, and we're not all miserable people. We can have a positive community. Totally agree with that, man. But getting back to Alpha, um, we are so we've got Jordan Love in Green Bay. We've got Jared Goff, who is underrated consistent. Jared Goff brings is going to bring forth a winner for I mean future years if they sign him to a contract. You might have their guy from Tennessee, the really mobile quarterback that they drafted next year. They might look at him as far as taking over after signing St. Brown, after signing Sewell to these huge deals. They might not have enough money in the coffers to pay Goff, so that's going to be really interesting. So we've got Jordan Love, um, we've got Jared Goff. Now we've got Caleb Williams, one of the highest projected quarterbacks in recent memory since Andrew Luck, since Trevor Lawrence. There hasn't been anyone that's more of a consensus number one pick as Caleb Williams. And now you have JJ McCarthy coming in the Minnesota Vikings. And if the Minnesota's offense is even half of what it should be, you're going to have Justin Jefferson taking the tops off defense. You're going to have Addison running routes as well. I think Hawkinson is hurt right now, but if Hawk is ready for the regular season, man, you are going to have a great Minnesota team. Although they're kind of in salary cap hell and their defense isn't very good, but just think of the quarterbacks. Think of the competition that we're going to have in the NFC North. It's just going to be absolutely crazy. So I absolutely agree with Alpha. The quality of gameplay in our division, it's going to be top notch this year. I can't wait. I absolutely agree with you. Um, you know what? You know what, Iron? I still wanted Justin. I did too, man. I did too. It's kind of funny in my office. Craig from Sports Talk Detroit, he'll appreciate this. I this year, towards the end of the year, I got a signed Justin Fields helmet, and it's sitting in my office, and I see it absolutely every day that I work. And yeah, it's kind of a little depressing. Craig had a funny joke that he's like, here's how I increased the value of your Justin Fields helmet, and he turned it so the signature was up against the wall. So just absolutely hilarious. Alpha, thank you so much. You're awesome too, man, brother. We've got such a good thank you, man. You're very kind. Oh, you changed your profile picture. We've got such a good community here, man. Let's stay a family. Um Carrie, thank you for your service, right? I will say being stationed in Hawaii, your videos are a refreshing take on back home. I've been away for 17 and a half years. It's hard to find diehard fans for myself. I always feel back home with you. Carrie, thank you so much. And that's absolutely why I do this. This is so cool. Thank you for your service, brother. I'm not gonna feel totally bad for you because you're stationed in Hawaii. Let me know what island you're on, man. My sister just visited out there, but that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be refreshing. I want to be positive. I'm going to be Pollyanna most of the time. So thank you for recognizing that. Denver, Bo Nix. That's crazy. That's a fantastic pick. We haven't seen any trades, which is crazy. We'll get back to that. White Ghost, no edges taken yet. I can't believe it. So here's a very interesting thing, White Ghost. What do you guys think? If Ryan Pace, thanks for mentioning Pace. What do you think if Poles does something unbelievable here? What if Ryan Poles takes our second round pick for next year, maybe a pick from this year, like whatever? What if he formulates a deal to trade back up into this first round and still get Dallas Turner? What do you guys think of that? Would you be happy for that? I mean, we have a ton of picks next year. What if he was able to trade up and get Dallas Turner? It's a really good point. I didn't go to that comment, but no edges taken yet. I can't believe it. Bo Nix to Denver. That's a really good point, White Ghost. That I might stay on here. You know what? I was gonna peace out after the number 9 pick, but I might stay on here for a little while if you guys want to hang out for a little longer. But we have a social contract. I cannot carry 2 or 3 hours of a draft show by myself. You guys gotta keep the comments coming if we're gonna continue to do this. I'm not gonna do this solo. Let's just have a bro conversation with this. Um, Bo next to Denver, White Ghost, that's crazy. Yeah, you guys, let me know what you think. What possible scenario could happen that Chicago could trade back into the first round? Now, can you absolutely believe if this could happen? If you could believe that this would actually happen, I mean, what type of price would we pay to trade back up into the first round and to actually get Dallas Turner, to actually get Jared Verse? So we would have Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, and our defensive end spot fixed. Or if we could get Murphy somehow, if we could get into the second round tomorrow. Can you guys absolutely believe what we would be looking at there? That's absolutely insane. You guys, let me know what you think. What do you think the price would be to move up? Tommy, I feel the same way. I'm a believer in McCarthy as well. I didn't want him in the division. I totally feel that way. Rando for sure. I can't wait for the first game either. Oh man. Carrie, just I'm still saying thank you for your service. 17 years being away, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's people like you that allow us to do things like this, do a silly YouTube show, but talking about the draft, about our favorite team, man. That's what makes America great, and that's what makes you great. So I really appreciate that. Let's see who's getting picked here. What are the Raiders doing? That is crazy. Pick 13. The Raiders get Brock Bowers. That is insane. Are they going to be okay with their rookie quarterback then? You guys, let's talk about that too. Yep, to kind of catch up. Oahu. Carrie, you're chilling out in Oahu. Man, that's a good place to be. I would love to get out there someday. I would. That's like a bucket trip for me. White Ghost. That is crazy. 6 quarterbacks in 12 picks. Has that ever happened before? That's absolutely insane. 6 quarterbacks. So like the well is basically dry. Like the only quarterback still left is what? Spencer Rattler? You guys remember Rattler at Caleb Williams' first stop as a freshman. Spencer Rattler was the guy that he beat out, and Caleb Williams balled out, and that's kind of how things got started. And then he hit the transfer portal, and he ended up in USC. It's absolutely sick, that path, and it's funny that they're both in the same draft. Wait, yeah, Rando. I mean, I almost want to stay on here with you guys so we can celebrate if it actually happens. It's been a long day today, but it's almost like I want to stay on here. That's a good thing too, White Ghost. Like I wouldn't trade the defensive ends are off the hook next year. I think covered it in a couple of stories before. Next year draft is really interesting. We're looking at the wide receivers this year. This is probably the deepest wide receiver class. I mean, in a couple decades, this might be the best wide receiver class ever. But next year, the wide receivers, it's not a good wide receiver class. And that's one of the reasons I think Poles did do what he did with Romo Dunze, because next year, White Ghost, really good point. Next year, the defensive ends are almost as deep comparatively as we're looking at the receivers this year. The next year is a fantastic way time to get a defensive end, and we are absolutely loaded. We have a first round pick. We have 2 second rounds. I don't have it in front of me, but it's either in the third or the fourth round. We have double picks as well, which is really interesting. Yeah, man, that's a really good point. That might be good that we can just sit on our hands and get a defensive end next year. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And the reason I think that we can wait on defensive end, right, is I think Poles is showing with our defensive line coach, Eric Washington. He is just so good. I think that's one of the best hires. So back up a little bit. I think we got the best offensive coordinator available in Shane Waldron. I think we got the best defensive coordinator available at Eric Washington. Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, Eric Washington as defensive coordinator. Flus is still going to call the plays, but getting Washington is like such a coup because if you look at his work in Buffalo, if you actually think back, Chicago is the first place that he got a job as an NFL coach. But his work, he is, I would say, he's the best defensive line coach in all of football. So you're looking at why do we not need to do a defensive end? Maybe it's because they believe that Gervon Dexter is a real deal. Adam, maybe they believe that Gervon Dexter is the three tech that we absolutely need. I mean, he took a while to settle into the game, but man, as the season went on, I think it was that Lions game that he got his first sack of his career. Gervon Dexter was starting to become an absolute force. And I think he was a pretty fantastic player. So maybe the fact that we haven't done anything as far as defensive end and that we might be, like White Ghost is saying, wait until next year. Um, there's a lot of wisdom in that. Maybe it's because the coaching staff thinks that Gervon Dexter's the three tech that we need. And I think if you think back to the last pre-draft press conference polls, he was totally into presenting the fact that one thing that could really make this Flus defense thrive isn't two stud defensive ends. It's to be able to rush the passer from the inside and the outside. So if you have the defensive end that you can't double team them because you've got Gervon Dexter coming in as a dominant three tech, you can you could actually have Sweat wreaking havoc on the outside and Gervon Dexter being matched up against the center. You can't double team anybody, and man, I think, and also if we draft a defensive end potentially, or if we especially draft somebody like Murphy at defensive tackle, someone left a quote earlier today on one of my stories that in fact is admitting that both Pickens and Gervon Dexter are mistakes. That's admitting that they're busts. If you go in the second or first round and draft another defensive tackle, you're showing that those guys are flushed out. So maybe the fact that we haven't done anything defensively that we loaded up on offense, I think to finish off on that, maybe it's because we think that Gervon Dexter is a real deal. And that if we can continue to rotate in Pickens, guys, that could be a huge win. I like that too, Tommy. I like it. Like for sure, I'll give you props. If we can trade back into late in the first, right, it might be a little less expensive. We might be able to pair something up. I mean, we do have a third round pick. Maybe we could grab JPJ at the end. I would absolutely love that too. Like I was talking earlier, JPJ, he has experience at offensive guard. He has experience. He's played a little bit of tackle too, but I don't think we'd want him there. I think we're set there. But yeah, for sure. If we traded back in the first and got JPJ, he could play over at guard, solve that Tevin Jenkins problem if we have to, play on the other side of the center opposite of him as well. And yeah, JPJ could play guard for a while, maybe for the first full year, let Shelton handle it and then slip over with experience and having learned the game. Really good point, Tommy. I really like that. Alpha. I thought Khalil Herbert was going to be traded to Dallas. I don't know. I think all that smoke. You're talking about all these stories and stuff. I never saw any teeth to that, but I wouldn't hate Khalil Herbert being traded to Dallas. But what are we going to get? A fifth round pick, a sixth round pick? Is that really worth it? If we could get a fourth rounder, if we could package something in and get a fourth rounder for Khalil Herbert, I'm all for that, man. But there's a lot of wisdom in keeping this running back stable solid as well. What's up, Carrie? I work in the center of history, the best duty station ever. Man, that's so good. Good shout out. Good shout out to your station, man. That's fantastic. I'm glad to give you that platform. But man, this is so much fun. I'll tell you guys honestly, doing a live show, it feels a little vulnerable. It feels like there are no training wheels. It's not like shooting regular shows that if you say something idiotic, like I've said DeAndre Smith a lot instead of DeAndre Swift. All that stuff you can kick back and you can re-record, you can fix it. But Yeah, this has been a really good experience. Thank you for making me more comfortable and being so participatory. I really appreciate it. But yeah, man, great shout out for Kerry. He works in the center of history, the best duty station ever, man. I'm glad to hear that. So this is interesting. White Ghost answered my question. A price for a first for Turner, pick 75, pick 122, and a first next year. Would you guys be happy to trade next year's first for Dallas Turner? I mean, if we're good, our first next year. Let's see who New Orleans drafts. Fuaga. You know what? Fuaga might end up being the best the best offensive lineman in this draft. Like just a solid tackle. And if you're talking about mullets, if you're talking about mullets, Fuaga wins. So I say Fuaga might be the best tackle in this whole draft. And I think it's just because I love his mullet. Uh Raiders took Bauer. Hey, what's up, Boho? Yeah, you just got here just a little while ago. How do we feel about our draft picks so far? I absolutely love our draft picks. We've got a generational quarterback, and Odunze might be the number two receiver in the whole draft. I mean, Rome Odunze, he's so complete. Um, he can run, he can catch. That's crazy. Last year, he only had three drops. Like it's under a 2% drop rate. Strong hands, can stop on a dime, can high point the ball, can make acrobatic catches, and we get to pair him with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. It's absolutely sick. Alpha, yeah, man, he loves them too. Iron save, lost. I'm thrilled with our picks. Gonna filter through these comments a little bit. You guys have made this a lot of fun. Thank you for participating so much. You guys have made this really crazy. I mean, that's a really interesting. That's really interesting. What's your name? A hollow slant. Oh, really, man, these names. Yeah, that's a really good point. Gervon, he played edge a few times last year, and that's been kind of coming up a little bit. So we haven't been able to solve our defensive end problem on the other side. I mean, we've got some rotational picks, but nobody that really blows their skirt up. It is possible that Gervon Dexter could shift over to end, or could rotate back and forth, because if we're looking at players on the offensive line that can play all the positions, is it possible that we could do that on defense? Is it absolutely possible that Gervon Dexter could play edge from time to time, or maybe even full time? And then with the how good our defensive line coach is, if he could develop Pickens into at least a serviceable defensive tackle, is that like a win? I mean, I'm wondering if that's the win. White Ghost, Dexter has ball skills. He has good ball skills. That's fantastic. Yeah, Dexter's SHH rate after we picked up Sweat was better than his college rate. He's a real deal. Thank you for sharing that. I think Dexter is a real deal. I think look, we've got one of the best secondaries in the entire game. I might argue that it's the best. I actually love our veteran signing at safety to fill that up. But yeah, we have the best secondary in the league. I'm gonna say that. Um, thank you for correcting that, White Ghost. He tips balls, not that he has good balls. But Tommy, like saying that, he is a real deal, and I think the future of this defense, whether this defense is absolutely elite and complete, I think it hinges on Gervon Dexter being the 3 tech that we need, and I would be willing to gamble. I think it's a 50-50 chance that he is, but the coaching that we have, if he's not, it's gonna be because he's not good enough. It's not gonna be because he didn't receive good coaching. The Colts are about to pick. Here we go. This is kind of interesting, and this is from White Ghost. I don't think JPJ goes until the 50s. Centers don't go high, although he's worth it. I think that's really, really interesting. Like, what does it look like if we could do a little trade up into the second round and get JPJ, who arguably he might be the best offensive lineman in the draft if you go by versatility. I mean, he's not going to be better than Joe Alt, but he might be the best. I love this Irons. So many years. Pissed because the Bears, they have players like Major Wright and so many others. Bringing up a player like Major Wright, like missing out on that. It's nice to actually be content. I feel completely content right now. Feel absolutely, completely content. What do you, can you talk? Did I miss something? A fourth from Herbert. He doesn't block. Oh, a fourth. I was thinking for some reason Justin Herbert got traded, but yeah, a fourth for Herbert. I think that's an absolute fantasy. I don't think it's possible to get a fourth from Herbert. I think the best that we would probably get is a fifth or a sixth. So thanks for keeping me honest there. Yep. I'll take a sixth for Herbert, conditional fifth. Yeah, you absolutely agree with me. Thanks for clarifying that, Iron. So many years upset for players like Major Wright. I'm content. First time in a while. First time in memory that I'm content in an offseason coming in for the Chicago Bears. Yeah, that's right, Bajo. Uh, King of the mullets. That's absolutely right. That's why I love him. That's why he's my vote to be the best. I think that's it too. I mean, Chicago knows that they can draft defensive players, and I haven't really looked into it a lot. I'm going to be looking into the day two picks actually tomorrow, but I think it's important. That's a good thought. Have faith. We might find a sleeper defensive end in this draft. I mean, polls can work some magic. We still have some ammo from next year. We can move up and down in this draft, and totally, totally get that done. I'm not sure who that is. Hi. Hey, hi. um, better profile picture. Thank you. Okay, here's a really interesting pick. Like Latu. I mean, if you look at Latu as just a straight up player, I think if you just look at his play during his time at UCLA, I mean, I think it's hard to argue that he's not the best defensive player in the draft. I mean, he gets to the quarterback. He's a hard worker. He's versatile. He's speedy. He's fast. He's long. Like he has every single attribute that you would want on a defensive end. But it's just that surgery that he had on his neck. I mean, he was told that he was never going to play football again. And then he gets this neck fusion, vertebrae fusion surgery, I believe it was. And then all of a sudden he's medically cleared and he fought back and he's playing football again. So it's like this is kind of a player that I'm really intrigued about. I think he's going to be an absolute stud for the first year that he plays. But man, then what after that? I think he's going to be a great player for the first couple years, but I'm worried about like the fourth and fifth year because you look at I think it was Van Der Esch from Dallas had a really similar procedure and coming into football and he continued to have neck problems and he actually retired super early. So yeah, really interesting. Good night, Tommy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I tried to be as entertaining as I can. And man, love you, man. Thanks for being a part of our family and go Bears, bear down. See you, brother. Thank you for your service. I think that's something White Ghost that is putting out. Eberflus and the defensive line coach have their eyes on somebody on defense, and that's gonna definitely, um, that's something that's gonna definitely, be something that could happen. So I would look for our defensive needs to be filled on day 2, maybe with a 3rd round pick. Yeah, Alpha, I don't know if I'm quoting it absolutely perfect. I don't know if it's a neck fusion surgery, but it's definitely a vertebrae fusion surgery. I'll have to look at it just to be absolutely sure that my information is correct. But yeah, the procedure that he had done is similar to what I believe it's Leighton Vander Esch from Dallas that just retired way early. It's the same thing that he had, or very similar, and he could never quite get past it and be healthy. So it's kind of yeah, so it's kind of like that just scares me. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna be a problem for the first couple of years, but if you're doing a first round pick on a defensive end, you want him to be there for 4 or 5 years, and I just don't see that happening with that type of surgery, so should be pretty cool. Randall, one of my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers coming back next season after his, ACL tear, I don't know, man. I just don't care. It's like Rodgers has been such a thorn in our side, and it's hard to, like, even be objective. Um, my buddy Jason that does Sports Talk Packers, Sports Talk Wisconsin, like, during that playoff game, he's sending me discount double checks, like, filmed in real time, and it's just I don't know, I have such a dislike for Aaron Rodgers just because how he absolutely has owned us over the years, and I don't know, and personally, there's so many unpalatable things that he said and so many different perspectives that I just flat out can't can't get down with that it's hard for me to even be objective, but, like, I mean, it's a good story. I'd love to see him come back and play just so I can root against him, but I don't know, if anybody can come back at this age, it's him, and I think if he can stay healthy, the Jets are gonna be incredibly dynamic. They've got a great defense. They just got another stud offensive lineman. It looks like they're sold out to protect him because I think the main problem with the Jets last year is their offensive line. I mean, not just because Rodgers got hurt, but that was a problem all year. And getting another stud offensive lineman, isn't that where Fuaga went? Or Fashiono. That's where Fashiono went. And yeah, I think they're going to be super dynamic. They Wilson is a great wide receiver. They've got everything stitched up, so I think that's fantastic. Hey, what's up, Ed? So glad you're here. Bears receiving core in the NFL, hands down. Best receiving core in the NFL, hands down. I think what you're saying. The Bears. The Bears. Yeah, thank you so much. I agree. That's absolutely fantastic. That's crazy too, White Ghost. I didn't notice that. 14 straight offensive players, man. Um, yeah, I don't know if I repeated that. White Ghost, I got it. I know it's an Achilles tear, not an ACL. I don't know if I repeated that mistake too, but you're good, man. I get it. It's hard to keep all of this straight. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I have someone to root against. I mean, Brian, for sure. Like we need to make some moves so we can get more second round picks. There's still some good players available. I'd be completely down for that. If there's some way we can do it without torpedoing our draft for next year, because I really love that we have a ton of picks. And Ryan Poles was talking about it in a pre-draft press conference that this year with the draft picks that he has, it almost sounded like he was completely okay with quality and not quantity. Like we got two absolute studs in the first round. And he kind of was talking about next year that it's a year of quantity. I mean, we've got a first, we've got 2 seconds. I have to look at exactly if someone can look up the actual picks that we have. I think we have a first, a couple seconds, and multiple third rounders or multiple fourth rounders, and then just a full bevy all the way to round 7. So we have like a full coffer as far as draft picks next year. And next year is the year for defensive ends. So yeah, Brian, I'd be really interesting for interested for us to fill in that second round pick, I just want to do it without paying a crazy price. So thank you. Alpha, Swift, Moore, Allen, Komet, Odunze. Don't forget Gerald Everett. Caleb can close his eyes and throw it anywhere and complete a pass. Yeah, he can totally like throw the ball like Uncle Rico, right? There's no bad place to throw it. Um, Yes, thank you, White Ghost. And remember this for the message boards. Remember this completely. We want to continue to have a positive community here. So yeah, it's all good. We don't argue here. We're all Bears fans. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. Absolutely, White Ghost. I feel exactly the same way. And you guys have all been great. And the message boards have been funny and fun. So yeah, that's completely cool, man. I absolutely love this. We're of the same mind. This positive community has been awesome. Um, that's why it feels like family. Yeah, you guys, Carolina. Like, think about what we did to Carolina. So essentially, man, I don't know if I can even um truly like I'm gonna try to make sure that I have this right. Um, Bear with me if I'm a little wrong here. So this is basically if we look at and I'm probably gonna go through this, it's getting late. I'm probably gonna go through this and sign off. But, man, yeah, Rando, I believe that. I think we set Carolina 5 years back. So let's just think of where we're at and what Ryan Poles did. So, essentially essentially what we did for 1 player, Bryce Young, look at what we have from the trade with Carolina. Like, let's actually look at that. Last year, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, um, and also on top of that, this year, now we got Caleb Williams as part of the trade. I believe the 4th rounder in a roundabout way from another move that we made brought us Keenan Allen in that trade. Plus we have a 2nd rounder from next year. How is that not an absolute insane thing? I'm gonna make sure I have that right. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. That's just absolutely insane how we fleeced them, and we have an extra pick next year. That's absolutely insane. So you guys, this has been so much fun. I mean, we're 2 hours in. I absolutely totally enjoyed doing this show with you, you guys. It's been absolutely fantastic. Like, enjoyed every absolute second of it. You guys have been great. You guys are all family. Thank you so much for spending this time together. It's just been so much fun, and, yeah, for being worried about doing a live show. This is absolutely fantastic. It couldn't have been better. Iron Save. I I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow. We're talking about kind of like what we're doing here is that Sports Talk is a family. So we've got Sports Talk Detroit, we've got Sports Talk Wisconsin, and Sports Talk Denver, and I'm here with Sports Talk Chicago. So we're kind of throwing around possibly doing a live show together. I know I'll be posting tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to be live because I said, oh, what happened here? Wow. Byron Murphy just went to, Seattle. Um, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be live streaming tomorrow. I know I'll be posting, but, yeah, I'll let you guys know. Just check if I'm gonna be live or not. I don't wanna promise that. I have a crazy loaded up weekend, and I wanna spend some time with my family, but for sure. Um, Everybody's been so cool. Yeah, thank you, Alpha Jerk. Um the nicest guy is Alpha Jerk. So I absolutely love this. But this was great. Everyone has been nice and informative. Peace out. Love you too, Rando. I really appreciate that. But yeah, thanks for making this so much fun. This was the best time of the whole week. And yeah. Take care, you guys. Go Bears. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. You got to love it. And I'm going to see you guys soon. White Ghost, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore in the second next draft. Thank you, Carolina, for sure. You guys have a good night. You know what? I'll pray. I'll pray after this for blessings to you and family. Like love your family. Continue to love Bears football and bear down, man. We'll talk soon, and I'll be posting tomorrow. See you, my friends.